What's up everyone and welcome back to the MMA Buzz. Sean O'Malley issued a clear warning to Merab Dvalishvili ahead of his upcoming fight with Petr Yan, emphasizing that striking recklessly with Yan could be a costly mistake. Speaking with Ariel Helwani, O'Malley, who has shared the octagon with both fighters, broke down the matchup scheduled for this Saturday's UFC 323 main event. O'Malley explained that Yan remains one of the most technically sharp and precise strikers in the division. According to him, Yan's ability to counterpunch, stay composed in the pocket, and exploit openings makes him especially dangerous to anyone who becomes overly confident on the feet. He noted that Merab has shown increasing trust in his striking, nearly knocking out Corey Sandhagen and engaging in extended exchanges against both Sandhagen and Umar Nurmagomedov. While these improvements are impressive, O'Malley warned that lifting the chin or throwing too freely could give Yan the exact opening he needs. He stressed that Yan thrives on small mistakes. He sits in the pocket, trades fearlessly, and has the speed and timing to turn a minor lapse into a fight-ending moment. For that reason, O'Malley believes Merab must rely on his biggest advantage, elite fight IQ and relentless grappling pressure. He even joked that Merab's fight IQ might be higher than his regular IQ, but praised him for always sticking to smart high-percentage game plans. O'Malley said he expects Merab to avoid prolonged striking exchanges and instead apply his usual suffocating style. However, he hinted that unpredictability always exists in MMA. If Merab falls in love with his hands or tries to prove a point on the feet, Yan has the tools to capitalize immediately. Ultimately, O'Malley is leaning toward Merab to win, but only if he remains disciplined, avoids unnecessary risk in striking exchanges, and refuses to let Yan draw him into a technical boxing match. If he strays from that strategy, O'Malley believes the fight could quickly swing in Yan's favor. Before moving on to the next news, we have a quick request for you. We're always working to improve our content and truly value your support. If you could take a moment to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon, it would mean a lot to us. That way, you'll never miss an update. Move on to another news. Merab Dvalishvili appears more confident than ever in his striking as he prepares for his upcoming clash with Petr Yan. Ahead of his previous fight with Corey Sandhagen, Merab made headlines by vowing to stand and trade, promising to finish Sandhagen with strikes. He nearly delivered on that promise in the second round, unloading a relentless barrage of punches that Sandhagen barely managed to survive. That performance showcased just how far Merab's striking has evolved. Now, only days before stepping into the octagon against former champion Petr Yan, Merab is once again expressing full belief in his improved stand-up game. Speaking with Brett Okamoto of ESPN MMA, he openly stated that knocking Yan out is not just a possibility, it's his goal. Merab explained that his confidence comes from a combination of hard work, coaching, and a deeper understanding of striking fundamentals. He credited his team, including coach John Wood, for sharpening his technique and helping him blend his natural instincts with disciplined, technical striking. Merab reflected on how early in his career, he relied mostly on raw instinct and aggression, throwing hands without much structure. Over time, however, he has learned to strike with clarity, precision, and control. He emphasized that he now understands how to hit without getting hit, a skill he believes will be crucial against someone as polished as Yan. Merab expressed appreciation for the coaches and training partners who have contributed to his rapid improvement. He explained that each camp has elevated his skill set, making him far more dangerous than the fighter fans saw in his early days. According to him, this version of Merab is cleaner, sharper, and more balanced, someone who can seamlessly mix striking with his already elite grappling. With the fight approaching, Merab's message is unmistakably bold. He wants to finish Petr Yan with a knockout or TKO. He believes his progress, discipline, and confidence in the stand-up department have positioned him to deliver exactly that. And while many view Merab as a cardio-driven wrestler, he seems determined to prove that his hands should not be underestimated. Move on to another news. Bilal Muhammad is calling for significant changes to the UFC's rules regarding eye pokes after his recent loss to Ian Machado Gary. The former UFC welterweight title challenger suffered multiple eye pokes during the fight, and he believes those fouls directly affected the outcome. In a new video posted on his YouTube channel, Bilal expressed his frustration, arguing that the repeated pokes weren't accidental and that Gary used them strategically to gain an early advantage. Bilal began by acknowledging that the fight didn't unfold the way he and his team had hoped, but emphasized the importance of learning from setbacks. However, he made it clear that the incident was difficult to overlook given how little actual fighting took place due to the fouls. According to him, he was poked in the eye 3 separate times, which severely limited his ability to continue competitively. He went on to say that Ian Gary is a smart fighter who knows how to manipulate situations to secure a win. Bilal claimed that Gary recognized early on that that eye pokes could disrupt his rhythm and impair his vision, especially when no points were deducted. This, he argued, created an environment where fouls were essentially risk-free, enabling fighters to benefit from repeated infractions without meaningful consequences. Bilal stressed that the UFC needs to update its rules and introduce stricter penalties, whether warnings, automatic point deductions, or other forms of accountability, to ensure fighters aren't incentivized to exploit such tactics. Without real repercussions, he warned, fighters will continue committing fouls that can change the course of a match. He questioned the purpose of the current system if eye pokes go largely unpunished, noting that athletes train too hard and put too much on the line for victories to be determined by illegal actions. For Bilal, enforcing stronger guidelines isn't just about his own loss, but about protecting fighters and preserving the integrity of competition across the sport. Move on to another news. Tom Aspinall remains deeply disappointed with UFC President Dana White following the controversial aftermath of his fight against Cyril Gane in Abu Dhabi. After the bout ended due to a double eye poke, White publicly suggested that Aspinall simply did not want to continue. Later, during an appearance on the Jim Rome show, White claimed Aspinall had suffered no eye damage at all. Those statements were proven false when Aspinall revealed he had been diagnosed with bilateral traumatic Brown syndrome, a serious condition confirmed by medical specialists. Speaking with Ariel Helwani, Aspinall said that despite the severity of his injury, Dana White has not reached out to him even once since the fight. While he acknowledged that he and White are not regularly in contact, the lack of communication, especially after such a significant injury, was deeply disappointing. Aspinall noted that the UFC as an organization has spoken to him, but Dana himself has made no effort to check on his health, offer clarity, or correct the earlier misinformation. Aspinall explained that hearing his own promoter publicly imply his injury was non-existent added unnecessary pressure and fueled criticism online. According to him, this narrative made fans believe he exaggerated or even faked the severity of the injury, leading to intense backlash. When an Aspinall eventually released detailed medical reports documenting the condition and the extensive tests he underwent for weeks, critics accused him of crying, milking it, and doing a media tour for sympathy. He pushed back firmly against those accusations, saying he had spent multiple days per week in hospitals undergoing various examinations to understand the full extent of the damage. For people to ignore the replay, dismiss the visible eye poke, and disregard official medical documentation left him stunned. Frustrated but composed, Aspinall said he has accepted that some critics can never be pleased. He referred to the harsh detractors as haters with nothing good going on in their lives, but took a moment to express gratitude toward the many supporters who stood by him throughout his recovery. He reiterated that his intention was simply to keep his real fans informed and to clarify the truth after weeks of silence and speculation. Move on to another news. Michael Bisping believes Tom Aspinall is making a mistake in the way he's addressing criticism following the controversial ending of UFC 321. In a recent YouTube video, Bisping advised Aspinall to avoid responding defensively or publicly posting doctor's notes to prove the legitimacy of his injury. He explained that while he understands Aspinall's desire to show he is still medically unfit to fight even weeks later, doing so only fuels the narrative created by detractors. According to Bisping, acknowledging the criticism publicly makes Aspinall appear vulnerable and places him in the position of a victim, something that he argues fans rarely respond well to. Bisping emphasized that everyone saw the eye pokes clearly, calling them deep and damaging, and described the situation as a complete travesty. Instead of trying to prove anything, he urged Aspinall to return with a fierce mindset and focus on making a statement in the cage. He encouraged him to show confidence, dismiss the negativity, and even lean into the rivalry with Cyril Gane by calling him out boldly and positioning himself as the aggressor heading into a potential rematch. Fans, Bisping argued, respect fighters who refuse to be shaken by public criticism. In the second half of his video, Bisping shifted to the news surrounding Sean Strickland, who recently turned down a fight against Anthony Hernandez at UFC 325. Strickland is nearing the end of his NSC suspension, which stemmed from an altercation at a local MMA event, and has been eager to return. However, he declined the bout because he refuses to fight in Australia. Strickland explained on social media that the financial drawbacks, specifically taxes and the lack of medical insurance, made the location undesirable for his first fight back. He acknowledged that he needs about 8 to 10 weeks to prepare, but said he would rather return in the United States than sacrifice a large portion of his paycheck abroad. In classic Strickland fashion, he also used the moment to take several shots at Khamzat Chimaev and the state of the middleweight division. He accused Chimaev of inactivity due to repeated delays, surgeries, and personal obligations, claiming the division is essentially frozen. Strickland argued he would have a better chance chasing a light heavyweight title than waiting for stability at middleweight. Move on to another news. Conor McGregor and Mike Tyson recently met up in Ireland, creating a moment that immediately captured the attention of fight fans worldwide. The two combat sports icons shared a light-hearted and energetic exchange, showing clear respect and admiration for one another. As they spoke, McGregor enthusiastically commented on Tyson's presence and intensity, while Tyson acknowledged McGregor with the same mutual recognition. McGregor joked about heading up for another round of training, playfully mentioning how he always feels a surge of adrenaline when he's around Tyson. He described how every time he prepares to engage with someone of Tyson's stature, he feels an instinctive shift, like sitting down one moment and standing ready the next. Tyson laughed along, responding with his trademark combination of charisma and unpredictability. The two continued reflecting on their shared experiences in combat sports. McGregor pointed out that everything they've gone through over the years, the pressure, fame, setbacks, and comebacks, has shaped them into perfectly suited figures for the paths they're on today. He asked Tyson if he'd seen the recent promotional material McGregor filmed, including a segment where he described himself going up and down the railing like an alien while promoting his brand. Tyson grinned and acknowledged it, pleased to see McGregor fully immersed in his ventures both inside and outside the fight world. Their conversation highlighted a rare and genuine connection between two of the most influential fighters in history. One, a legendary heavyweight who defined an era. The other, a global superstar whose rise changed MMA forever. The moment captured them simply enjoying each other's company, sharing stories, and exchanging respect as two men who know exactly what it takes to perform at the highest level. Move on to another news. Joe Rogan recently addressed the growing rumors surrounding Ilia Topuria's alleged divorce during an episode of The Joe Rogan Experience. While discussing the situation, Rogan reacted to a photoshopped image circulating online, a fake edit showing Ilia's wife with a UK rapper. The actual, unaltered photo was taken in 2023 and simply shows her standing with her brother. Believing the fake image to be real, Rogan criticized Ilia's wife, calling her a monster and expressing disbelief that a mother of his children would behave this way. He commented on how damaging such situations can be, especially when private matters become public and distorted through social media. Rogan discussed how manipulated images and online narratives can influence people's perceptions, explaining that once a partner is no longer on someone's side, emotions can escalate. He noted that some individuals react destructively, especially when their relationship with someone extraordinary comes to an end. According to Rogan, being married to a world-class athlete like Ilia, a UFC champion and global star, creates a unique dynamic. When a relationship falls apart, some partners may feel hurt, overshadowed, or betrayed. This, he suggested, can lead to attempts at damaging reputations or creating chaos out of frustration or resentment. Rogan emphasized that reputation attacks are often a weapon used during volatile breakups, and the spread of misleading content online can make situations even more explosive. He highlighted how easily manipulated images can deceive audiences and spark controversies that may not be grounded in truth. He concluded the discussion by stressing the importance of skepticism in the age of digital manipulation and urged listeners to be cautious about believing viral images without verifying their authenticity. Move on to another news. Ali Abdelaziz, the manager of both Islam Makhachev and Kamaru Usman, has made it clear that he intends to push for a highly anticipated matchup between the two stars. Speaking in an interview with MMA Junkie, Abdelaziz expressed strong support for Usman, arguing that the former welterweight champion has earned the right to compete for another title opportunity. According to Abdelaziz, Kamaru Usman has contributed immensely to the UFC and deserves recognition for everything he has accomplished. He emphasized that Usman has consistently stepped up, taken difficult fights, and remained one of the sport's most reliable and respected competitors. Abdelaziz questioned why fighters like Ian Gary are being considered when, in his view, Gary has not achieved anything significant in recent years compared to Usman's resume. Abdelaziz reminded fans that Usman was offered a fight against Shavkat Rakhmonov last November and accepted without hesitation, proving once again that he is willing to take on anyone. 1. He described Usman as one of the biggest and most respected names in the division, a true legend whose accomplishments speak for themselves. Turning to Islam Makhachev, Abdelaziz highlighted that the lightweight champion is now in the stage of his career where legacy-defining fights matter the most. He suggested that facing a former champion like Usman would not only be a massive event for the UFC, but would also add to Makhachev's growing legacy. Abdelaziz believes that when a fighter like Makhachev looks to cement his status as one of the greatest, facing elite opponents across divisions is a significant step. A matchup with Usman, who has already established himself as one of the best welterweights in history, would create the kind of high-level, historic fight that fans and analysts would talk about for years. In Abdelaziz's view, both Usman and Makhachev have the star power, accomplishments, and competitive drive to make this matchup not only compelling, but meaningful for the sport. As he continues advocating for this fight, the MMA community is now watching closely to see whether the UFC will consider making this cross-division showdown a reality.